This conference will now be recorded.
This is silent.
It's 5:30. We'll call the January 2nd, 2024 City Commission meeting to order. Those who choose to, please rise for the flag salute. Thank you, Lord, for our retiring commissioners. Thank you for guiding them through hard work and sacrifice. May you continue to bless them in the future. We pray you will generously give each of our new commissioners wise and discerning hearts to skillfully govern the people in our city. Give our mayor and city staff wisdom so that they may solve problems, distinguish between right and wrong, and bring order, stability, and prosperity to our community. In the name above all names, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Commissioner Ginger.
Here.
Commissioner Jennings. Commissioner Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Mayor Spillman.
Here. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, we have two additions. So item number 11, under reorganization items, would be designate one member of the governing body to serve as a representative to the SCKM Board of Trustees. And then under city manager's department, we would like to add number 2, a resolution approving an option agreement for purchase of and sale of real estate for Timothy Schultz for approximately 4.5 acres on West Skyline Road in Arkansas City for an amount not to exceed $5,000.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda with the additions.
So, second.
I guess I need to first just make a motion to approve the additions.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the additions to the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda, the agenda now.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda with those additions.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we approve the agenda with the additions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda. Any you want to read the items?
Again. Yep. Approve the December 19th, 2023 regular meeting minutes as written. Do you want me to just go through the list? Okay. Item number 2 is approve a resolution authorizing the public meeting of the governing body to attend a land bank board of trustees meeting at 5 p.m. Tuesday, January 16th, 2024 in the commission room at City Hall located at 118 West Central in Arkansas City. And item number 3 is rectify Mayor Spillman's reappointment of Anita Judd Jenkins and Bob Baker to the Equal Opportunity Accessibility Advisory Board.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, we approve the consent agenda as read. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, there's always a sad time in everything. But for some people, it may be a happy time. I've had the privilege for the last 2 years of serving on the commission with 3 of the commissioners. And Charles isn't here, but Charles always kept us in line of knowing what government meant and what we were supposed to do. And Canyon and Scott, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
But these 2 were on the commission when they had to make a very important decision about our water treatment plant. And those kind of things are not easy to do. You hate to spend money, but you know it has to be done. And because of them, for the next few years, we're probably going to be able to have a nice, not have to worry about the government being on top of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks.
Aaron Sendai, would Commissioners-elect Chad Beeson, Ted Stover, and Charles Tweedy III please come forward? And our city clerk will administer.
All right, Commissioners-elect.
Just these guys. That way.
Either way, yeah, I can come forward too. And if you'll please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Kansas,
and the state of Kansas,
my community,
my community,
and the agency I serve.
and the agency I serve.
I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
as city commissioner
of city commissioner
for the city of Arkansas City
for the city of Arkansas City
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Bye.
I didn't.
You're up here.
Yeah, you're going up there.
Girl, it's all over here.
I don't know where they're putting you either.
Hey, yours? Nope. Oh.
We'll sit on it for the heck of it.
I'm gonna try to get that to balance. That might be the best. So your plaques are on order. Unfortunately, we were closed last week. I'm in and I apologize. I'll get them.
It's a reasonable facsimile, right?
Okay, so we're going to start with roll call. So Commissioner Beeson?
Here.
Commissioner Spillman?
Here,
Commissioner Stover?
Here.
Commissioner Tweedy?
Present.
Mayor Warren?
Here.
at this time, it is my privilege and honor to nominate Jay Warren for the position of mayor for 2024, and I ask that this be a unanimous vote of the commission.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you. I guess on item 2, recognize the honor of the service of previous Mayor Diane Spillman. I want to thank you for all those wonderful prayers you've given this commission during this year. Seriously, it was deeply, just like the one you gave tonight. I really appreciate that. It gives a lot of thought. And I really appreciate all the meals you cook for us at the commission stuff. And we really appreciate that. Hopefully you will continue on doing that. Thank
I
you.
think I will. Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
Number 2, select a vice mayor for 2014. And usually it's the highest vote getter of the votes. So I would recommend that we elect Chad Beeson as the vice mayor.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, appointed. Okay, we need 3 members of the governing body to serve as the city commission representative of Strother-Field. Usually it's the 2 commissioners, that's 4-year terms, and I'll be the chairman of the board here year after next, so.
Chad.
Yeah, Tad, Chad, and myself for that.
Mayor, I would nominate yourself, Chad Beeson, and Tad Stover to be the Strotherfield representatives, and myself as an alternate.
Second that.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Designate one member of the governing body to serve as representative of Cali First. I think, Charlie, you talked about you'd like to have that
Yes.
board. Okay. I make a motion, we elect Charles Tweedy for that board.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, we need to appoint one member of the governing body to serve as a voting member of the Regional Economic Area Partnership, REAP, for the South Central Kansas, and either one member of the governing body or city manager to serve as an alternative member of the REAP and a voting member in absence. We didn't really kind of discuss that, but Charlie, would you be interested in that or not?
Not really.
Okay.
I'll nominate him to do it anyway.
Huh?
I was gonna nominate him anyway.
Vote on it.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to? Randy, you might explain this particular thing.
Yeah, so REAP is a group of local governments in about an 11 county area around Sedgwick County, with Cali County being one of those. The whole purpose is as for the elected officials from the cities and the counties in the South Central Kansas area to get together and work on items that are of interest to the entire South Central Kansas. Amtrak's one that they've been working on as it affects, Arc City, Wichita, and Newton. There's some mental health hospital issues they've been working on, trying to bring some mental health facilities to this part of the state, so that, we don't have, when we have mental health issues with the PD and stuff, they're not taking them up to Kansas City or trying to find beds there. That's just a few of the things that they have been working on recently. And again, they meet once a month, and they'll have a legislative agenda that they'll put out, and things that South Central Kansas can work on together. Kansas City has a really strong group up there in that area that they work on issues, and when you have a whole region come together and work on a particular issue, you tend to be able to move the ball, and so we want to see South Central Kansas get some of those wins, and not always going up to the northeast part of the state.
What day of the month do they meet?
They meet on the third Thursday of each month.
And what time?
Usually over lunch. They start about 11:30, have a lunch, and then.
Okay.
You out of bed by then?
Well, they usually last an hour and a half. Okay.
Usually either by 1.
Where they in Wichita or where?
It's at Wichita. It's at the Workforce Center at 21st and Amadon. It's normally where they meet at.
Okay.
Do we need to just-
As long as Randy goes.
Okay.
Yeah,
You always go.
participate in those, yeah, so.
Okay. Okay.
So you,
Tad, you want the good news or bad news? I'd already told Tad I was interested if you're not.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Then I'll make a motion that Chad Beeson fulfill that position.
okay, and I'll tell you what, let's add Charlie, if you, an alternate in case you can't. do it.
Absolutely.
That's, is that all right, Charlie?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we need one member of the governing body to serve as the Arkansas City Public Library Board of Trustees.
Charlie, you wanted to do that? I nominate Mr. Tweedy for that position.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then number 8, appoint one member of the governing body to serve the Visit Arkansas City Board of Trustees.
You still want that?
Yep.
You do?
It's my favorite board.
I'll make a motion, Charles Tweedy. Is it Arc City Board?
I'll second it.
Okay, been moved second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We don't want to overwork you, Charlie.
Okay. I've got nothing but time.
Number 9, designate one member of the governing body to serve as representative to the Cherokee Strip Land Museum Board of Trustees. And I think, Diane, you wanted that one, didn't you?
Yes, I did, sir.
I move we elect Diane Spielman to the Cherokee Strip Museum Board of Directors.
Okay, been moved second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then designate RCB Bank as a primary depository for banking service and all other eligible banks in the community as potential depositories for the city funds.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yeah. Is there a second? Okay, been moved to second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approves. Number 11, designate one member of the governing body to serve as a representative for South Central Board of Trustees.
One member?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. Chad Beeson. South Central Kansas.
Is there a second? Any other discussion?
Do we want an alternate for that too? For either one of you
They
guys?
meet at 7 a.m. Can you guys?
7:30.
Okay.
Yeah, we could have that.
Just in case.
Mr. Mayor, I don't think you can do an alternate.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so motion and second for Chad. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, city manager department. If you want to read that.
So item number 1 is an ordinance annexing, incorporating within, and adding territory to the city of Arkansas City, Kelly County, Kansas, a municipal corporation in conformity with the provisions of KSA 12-520, and all acts mandatory, therefore, are supplemental thereto.
That was a mouthful. The city recently purchased 101 acres at the southwest, kind of near the southwest intersection of 8th and Skyline. And the area was, of course, purchased in order to transfer property to housing developers. But first, we need to bring it into the city. We need to, and the reason we're doing it like this as opposed to just piecemealing out is because we want to be able to pre-certify it for Reinvestment Housing Incentive District, RHID, if you're familiar with that term. That's a tax program with payment sort of.
Yeah, kind of a reimbursement, tax reimbursement.
Yeah. And so we wanted to pre-certify that whole thing all at once so we don't have to keep doing that. And at this time, staff recommends that we just leave the zoning as a default R1 low density residential zoning district. And then we would do rezonings as necessary because we'll probably sell this off in different pieces. The Planning Commission did meet at their December 12th meeting and they voted to recommend to you to go ahead and annex that property and to leave the zoning as that default. So,
Okay.
pretty simple one.
Anybody have any questions on that?
It's pretty straightforward.
But hear a motion?
Can I do it or not?
I make a motion that we annex the, an ordinance annexing, incorporating within and adding territory to the city of Arkansas City, Kelly County, Kansas, a municipal corporation in conformity with the provisions of KSA 12-520 and all acts mandatory thereof and supplemental thereto.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any other discussion before we, it's going to be a roll call vote. If not, go ahead.
Commissioner Beeson,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillman,
Yes.
Commissioner Stover,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedy,
Yes.
Mayor Warren.
Yes. Motion carries. Number 2.
A resolution approving the option agreement for purchase and sale of real property with Timothy L. Schulte of approximately 4.5 acres along West Skyline Road, Arkansas City, Kansas, for an amount not to exceed $5,000.
We talked about that on our work session last Friday, but the reason why we're doing it tonight is they have to have that. You might explain that, Randy.
Yeah, certainly. So we were approached by TJ Ryan. I think he's here tonight, and he can kind of give some more details on what they're proposing. But they're working on doing some Kansas Housing Resource Tax Credits and MIH grants to develop, hopefully develop about 44 apartment complex here in Arc City. They would look to do phase 1 and then possibly phase 2 after this one's completed. They'd need about 4.5 acres. As part of the point process for these tax credits and grants, they have certain things they need to try to hit to get better points. One of those would be having some cooperation with the local government on property. So if we could sell that 404 acres to them for $5,000, that helps them get better points for the program. There's some other things would be utility hookups. We already have an ordinance in place where if you develop more than 25 units, we redo the utility hookup. So that's already in place. But that's the request for that property. And I'll let TJ kind of fill you in on the bigger picture of the project and what they're requesting.
Got some handouts here. You guys have seen these already, but just wanted to provide those for you again. There you go. So as Randy mentioned, my name is TJ Leon. I'm representing Mr. Schulte, as well as the firm that employs me, Affordable Equity Partners. And we've done quite a few projects over the years with Mr. Schulte as part of that ownership and that general partnership. Most recently, Paola and also Atchison, Kansas. We're about to break ground on a property in Junction City. And then I had the pleasure of doing a deal with Tim in Kansas City early on with my time here with this firm. So thank you guys again for just this opportunity to kind of walk through at a high level what we're proposing. So as Randy mentioned, it's approximately 4.5 acres located near Skyline Road or along Skyline Road of that 101 acres. So we'd be looking at a phase 1. Phase 2 does also get preferential treatment if we do receive that first award. Looking at the property, it lays out pretty well for about 40 units or so, maybe a few fewer, maybe 36. This is the pre-app phase with Kansas Housing Resources Corporation. And so as Randy mentioned, it is a competitive application process. So the land bank or the land donation upwards of $5,000 is part of that competitive scoring. So that's why the amount for the purchase of the transaction is at that threshold. Since it is competitive, it does give us a definite advantage. Mr. Schulte that I represent also has quite a bit of experience, as I mentioned, with prior developments in Kansas. Those are also a part of the point category process. So it does provide an extra 7 points. So Kansas Housing has really kind of set up and established and just trying to make sure that they're doing business and work with local developers, and also those that have experience in this area. It really does make a difference when you're trying to develop the challenges today, everything going on. So happy to walk through any additional questions. It is affordable housing, so they are based on area median income. Yes, sir.
That was going to be my question. I know we got some Winfield, they built a bunch of apartments and they were selling $1,400 a room, and
Right.
they're having a hard time filling them. So I'm just curious, what's our price range on these?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Thanks, Chad. So these are going to be between 30 and 60% of the area median income. Since it is a family project, that area median income is about 4 persons, so we're looking at a total of around 74,000. But that 30 to 60%, it's anywhere from $520 to $1,041. And that doesn't include the reduction associated with utility allowances. So that ends up being about $361 to $882.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, the utility allowances. So we basically back out what the utilities would be approximately for that individual. So
Okay.
they can handle those themselves. And then
But that's not going to be all that, but there'll be a certain percentage will be that way, and then the rest of it will be different, or is it all going to be the same?
the majority will be all low income housing.
Okay.
There might be some sprinkle of market rate within that ultimately just depends on some of the equity that needs to be funneled back into the project if needed. But the majority of them, we try to make them low-income housing.
I have a question. We're talking about utilities. Now, is this going to be a one water bill, one electric bill, one sewer bill, et cetera, or is each unit going to be paying?
Each unit would be acquiring that and paying their own.
Paying their own? Because I'm just questioning that thing about stormwater, and I want to be sure everybody's paying their share on that.
Understood.
So it's the same as if you own the house, you're responsible for the water, electric, and everything.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We do
I think that was the point, yeah.
We do provide Wi-Fi in the community area. So we'll have a community building that kind of resides centrally located. And one thing, talking with Randy and Josh, we do understand that, we would be happy to provide a thoroughfare that would then open up access to the south acreage and bring those utilities to that point stub out so that as future development occurs, they can.
And you're also talking about a road going south, north-south too, along that.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all taken care of by you guys.
We would provide that, yes, sir. And then we have an easement or whatever.
Well, some of the citizens, we bought that property. I think we gave you like $4,500 an acre, but we're going to sell 4.5 acres for $5,000. But you're going to do all the utilities behind that. I mean, sewer and water and hook put all that stuff in. That's about $400,000 the city don't have to mess with. So, that's, you're weighing about 17,000, the acreage cost versus about 400,000, where the city don't have to mess with it.
That's a good point. Yes, sir. We would bring those utilities, bring that all the way to the south side of that, and then
They have an access road going south on top of that for us. So
and then we would maintain that ourselves
Yeah.
as well, but provide that right away. But that's a good point that, we're looking at upwards of $2 million for site improvements, utility extensions.
Yeah. And one other question on this, the grants and stuff. You apply, when is the deadline for that this month?
The pre-app is Friday.
Okay, yeah, Friday. I knew it's coming up.
And
Just up on this side here, so they'll have to extend everything.
So when do you think, when will you be rewarded or when will you know then?
About July.
Okay.
That's pretty traditionally.
And then once you say if you get awarded on this, and then how long do you have to wait for the phase 2,
Usually about when we place in service, at least once we break ground.
Okay.
Then we can reapply for a phase
2. Okay.
So when would you think that these would be completed? Let's just go with the timeline that you've given. Where do you think you guys would be finished at?
2. Ideally placed in service into 25.
Well, we need affordable housing, and that's part of it right there.
Again, this agreement it would only go in play
if they
get awarded the.
If we had another developer want to put in a proposal to the state, would that affect yours at all?
Not necessarily. They're all scored separately.
Okay.
So it just depends location wise and or type of project. If it's a senior housing versus.
So even with two coming from the same city, it wouldn't necessarily bother your application?
We understand that there's, other developers out there that are trying to also be a positive addition to the community that they're working with. So that's something we've done many times before in other cities. It's really just how you approach it and depending on how they underwrite the project. They're both a little unique, I'm sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, that being said, I make a motion or a resolution approving the option agreement for the purchase and sale of the real estate property with Anthony L. Schultz for approximately 4.5 acres along the West Skyline Road, Arkansas City, Kansas, for an amount not to exceed $5,000.
Second it.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any other discussion? If not, it's a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No,
Opposed?
no.
Is there any comments from the audience that's not on the agenda? If not, city manager update.
I did want to mention that we have been approved on the community rating system for stormwater. Josh has been working on this for probably a year and a half now, 2 years.
About a year.
Yeah. We'll be coming in as a class 8 with 1,150 credits, which what it means is that any of our residents that are required to have flood insurance are eligible for a 10% discount on that now with this. What the community rating system does is it looks at all the different things that our city does for stormwater and flooding. And it looks at things like our construction management through our building permits and those types of things. Looks at the map information and how we manage those things. The outreach projects. What exactly would an outreach project be? Things that when we're communicating with the public on floodplain and education. And again, providing flood protection information, open space preservation. So keeping areas that are in the floodplains open and free from development, and providing a higher regulatory standard than what required. The flood data maintenance, stormwater management, floodplain management is just a few of the things that they look at and score points on. So that's, I think, coming in at an 8 with a 10% discount on our first run's pretty darn good. And they'll provide information on ways we can improve our floodplain management and practices and things that Josh can implement in what he does on a daily basis. And so anyway, I thought that was worth mentioning. It's for the folks that do have to have floodplain insurance at 10% will certainly help them a little bit. Then just a few things coming up on the calendar. So this is coming up this Thursday. The South Central Kansas Legislative Delegation is having a reception on January 4th. I believe it's at 4 p.m. at the NetApp building in WSU Innovation Campus. They'll have all the South Central Kansas legislative representatives from the state, and kind of before we send them off to Topeka. Give a chance for local officials to meet with them. And so if anybody's interested in going to that, let me know. We can get you signed up for that. And then on January 9th at 11:30 in my office, we're going to participate in a new officials webinar. And I think several of you have said you'd like to be there. So the league's putting it on. I just kind of give you an introduction as to what, things about open meetings, open records, and just kind of some of the basic things that you need to know as a new elected representative. And the other big thing coming up is the LKM Local Government Day on January 24th in Topeka. That'll be in the afternoon. It's where the county governments and the city governments come together and we'll talk about legislative things that we think legislative will be coming up that may affect cities and counties. And there's a chance to hear from some of the legislative leaders and what they foresee happening in this session. And then there'll be a reception at the end where we can, spend a little time with the legislators, have some hors d'oeuvres, and just kind of talk about things going on locally with them. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We can get signed up for that. Kind of ends later, probably around 7 o'clock or so. So if you're interested in spending the night, we can get rooms, and that way we don't have to drive back from Topeka, in the dark. But just let me know if you're interested in going to that. So.
Okay. And I think that we got a reception right after this, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Past and new members. Okay. Any other action we need to take? I guess not, but I hear a motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, Jay, I think